Hey guys, how's it going? Sean for the Canadian Brew channel. I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Well, I guess I did one shortly ago. I think I was doing my glycol chiller, that's right. This COVID thing, man, I can't stand it. It's never ending. My thoughts go out to families that are going through rough times with this. For me, it's just a small inconvenience, but I love doing brewing videos, and I really like doing videos on the beer I make and explaining how I do it, having tastings with my friends and family. And I think the last one I did on that was a sour I did last, it was an apricot sour, I think, last year. When was it? July. And now it's mid-February 2021. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a video on a beer that I made back in October of 2018. This is over 2 years old. It's a Russian Imperial Stout that I did. I did do a video on this, and I might link this to that video also, because I was saving. I have 2 beers left. This is one of the 2 beers left, and I was saving it to do a tasting with a few people that have been on my channel regularly. I'm gonna try and save the other one. I don't know when that's gonna be though, when they're gonna get here. So with no further ado, I'm gonna do this video on this tasting, and then I'm going to talk about why I think it's a good idea for people that like to drink beer, like myself, that you get into brewing, and I'll explain why. So first of all, let's just talk about my Russian Imperial Stout right here, brewed in Glen Williams, Ontario. I haven't touched this, probably it's been 8 or 9 months since I had my last one, so I don't know if it's gonna taste any good. So let's see what it tastes like, what it smells like, if there's any carbonation left in it. So let's try this out. Okay, that was a good sign. It did have some carbonation pressure there. The first smell, it does remind me of last time I had it. It does have a nice, like a strong depth of a little bit of chocolate, there's a little bit of coffee, and you can just smell the grain in this. It's just so good. So I gotta just see how this pours. I'll pour it a bit aggressive, see what we get out of it. And yeah, there's looks like a little bit less head retention than I had last time, but it still does have some head retention. It has gone down since last time I tried some of this, and it almost has like a bourbon background smell coming out, and I did fortify this with a little bit of bourbon, so that's probably what I'm smelling. So I'm gonna go for taste. Cheers. Oh man, it's still really good. This is still really good. It tastes better than the nose it has on it right now. The depth I'm getting of the coffee and chocolate is awesome. It's 2.5 years old. Oh, that is really, really good. You know what? The carbonation's dropped a slight bit down, but it is a stout, and you shouldn't overcarbonate stouts. What they normally do to stouts is they'll do a mix of nitrogen and CO2, and they call it, I think it's called beer gas, and it gives it more of a rounded palate. Nitrogen doesn't have that sharpness that CO2 does, but when you're making it naturally, you're not going to get nitrogen in there, you're going to have CO2, but it's still, I mean, man. This is really good. I'm so happy. Now, when I bottled these two, I want to just say, I've brought this up before about these type of bottles that seal and unseal for you quickly by just popping them open here. You can get these, I'm in Ontario, you can get these at the beer store. There's 1 or 2 different brands. I think they're from Germany. These beer bottles, they come with them like that, and these bottles are awesome. I don't bottle anything else except in these bottles, and I only bottle things I'm going to age, usually like this, like a stout. I used to bottle years ago. I used to use those plastic bottles, but they get scratches and they can have bacteria in them in the caps. You got to keep reusing the caps and cleaning them out properly, or having to buy new caps, which is expensive. I usually keg most of my beer, but these, I mean, this just proves this right here. Like, you sanitize everything, you pop this on. There's no seal except for this little rubber guy here, and I don't taste anything wrong with this beer. It is actually improved. That is really cool. So while I'm going to sip this beer, let's get into what I also want to talk to is about my reasoning right now, especially during COVID, why you should brew beer. Now, first of all, if you don't have a hobby, you're probably going crazy right now. Everybody needs a hobby. Everybody. I don't care what it is, if you're collecting hockey cards or whatever. I have a few hobbies. One is I play guitar, but I haven't touched my guitar in a while lately because I used to play with friends, and because of COVID, that didn't happen. Brewing, you can do by yourself. And brewing, it's almost like gardening in a way. You can do that by yourself as well. And I do get into gardening in the summer, but there's no gardening going on right now. Beer, you can do it all year round. So I got into brewing about 3-4 years ago, all grain brewing. And the benefits is it's rewarding. You'll learn a lot. Going on YouTube and reading, I've learned a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. It's really made me, I think, a better brewer. That's one reason I think it's great to start a new hobby. It's a new skill. Brewing, I guess I'm biased, but I think you should try brewing. Another thing is I'm helping to support local. I buy everything that I buy is from a local brewing shop. There are shops usually within 40 minutes, half an hour. Sometimes if you're farther out, it's an hour. But all the places I go, I'm buying ingredients that are local. The hops I buy are Canadian, usually from Ontario, but mainly Canadian hops. I don't know if you've noticed that it's going to happen with the U.S. They've got a new president, President Biden. He's very pro-American. I'm a pro-Canadian, and I just want everybody who's listening and watching me here to try and think of that as we try to get out of this COVID situation. There's going to be a lot of people that are struggling to get back on their feet, and there's going to be a lot of companies, or especially like restaurants and hospitality, that's really going to struggle to get back. We have the Furnace Room Brewery in Georgetown. It's 5 minutes down the road from me, and I go there and I support them. I buy kegs of beer there. Chicken Man, I'll buy that all the time. I love Chicken Man, and that supports those guys locally. So getting into brewing, I'm helping to support locally. Also, it's cheaper to drink beer if you're on a budget. Like right now, I'm not working full time right now, so I am pinching my pennies a little bit so I can have a beer. A delicious beer like this would probably cost me $5 or $6 for a Russian Imperial Stout that's been aged for a couple of years. This probably cost me, I don't know, 75 cents to $1 to make, so fivefold I saved. That is the main reasons I think you should try brewing. It's skills. You're going to also be supporting the local community. And if you decide, well, maybe I don't want to brew, okay, that's fine, it's cool. Maybe hang out with a friend who is brewing when you're allowed to. And that's always a fun thing to do as well. Now, even if you still decide, man, I really don't want to get into brewing, try buying some craft beers from local areas as well. There's so many good craft breweries in Ontario. They're everywhere. They really are starting to pop out of the woodwork. We're a little bit behind the West Coast. Usually they're the first ones, like Oregon and those areas, and as it comes across through, like I'd say probably Maine and all along those northern states, they have a lot of craft breweries, and they came out huge 7 or 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. We're still growing, and don't go getting faked out by these what used to be local craft brewers, and now they're bought out, like Mill Street, bought out, right? That's Bush. Don't buy them. I don't know if you heard about the Tragically Hip is suing them, or probably suing them now for a beer they came out with called the 100th Meridian, and then kind of started making it look like it had something to do with the hip, which it doesn't. So don't support those guys. They can take a hike. You got to support the local breweries. Like I said, like Furnace Room. There's so many breweries all over the place. I couldn't name them all. Nickelbrook is one of them. There's so many. That's all I can really say about that is supporting local farmers, and this supports, believe it or not, local farmers. The grain, the hops that are in here, that's all from local farmers. And having this brewery set up in my basement has really helped me. Psychologically, it has, to keep my mind busy, learning new things, trying new beers, putting out these videos for everybody to watch. And I appreciate you guys when you watch it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't, because I want to continue to do this. And anything you put down below, any of the comments, I read them all, I respond to them. And if you have anything you want me to do with brewing, have any questions, let me know. So Sean here, Canadian Brew Channel, having a beer, my 2.5-year-old Russian Imperial Stout, having it by myself. But guys, Sean, Steve, Brian, guys that have been on my channel more than once, I wish you were here having this beer, guys, but just take my word for it, it's delicious. Thanks for watching. Cheers.